lot of people have expressed interest in me doing one of these walks around New York City actually live, and there's been some confusion with regard to the others, if they were live or pre-recorded. What I had been doing for the past few days is pre-recording the walk-arounds, just because it's so challenging to get all this going and have it be live as well. I hope it's playing. I'm trying to check it right now. So I was pre-recording. There we go. It does appear to be live. Excellent. But yeah, I was pre-recording those. Also, I'm moving all around the city, so I'm crossing cellular network zones, going down into the subway at times. If the live feed does cut, it's very likely due to a problem with all of that. Looking pretty good right now. I do have comments up live here on yet another phone. I've got 3 phones here to make this work. So it often looks easy, but there's a lot of complicated stuff involved. So I don't know if people were watching the press conference. I presume they were. It actually gave me renewed confidence, not specifically for the mumbo jumbo they were sort of burbling about, which seems like a lot of time wasting, but I noticed that Mike Pence said twice that we were 6 days into a period of 15 days of isolation, that they're trying to slow the spread of this virus. I mean, it's funny because a lot of what they're saying doesn't really correlate with things that other doctors are saying as far as herd immunity. If people saw my interview this morning with John Mark Dougan, we were talking about that, how in the UK they had initially stated that healthy people who are outside of the high-risk demographic should go about their lives normally, so that we can develop antibodies in the general population against this new strain of virus. This is kind of the way humans and viruses have coexisted forever. But they didn't do that. They just tell everybody to stay inside their homes. It's a very nice day, early spring here in New York. People are walking around with their coronavirus masks on, looking at me with, cell phones strapped to my arms and everything. Luigi says hasn't seen or heard of anyone he knows being sick, but no TP. I don't know what that means. But yeah, we spoke to John Mark Dougan. He's been diagnosed in Russia, he told us, with coronavirus. He looked okay, didn't look that sick. Obviously nobody wants to be sick, but I don't think we would close down the entire country over a fever and a week's worth of staying in bed. So a lot of people have been wondering what is going on. The QAnon-minded folks think this is 57D chess and that Trump is outsmarting the deep state. That seems like a pretty circuitous route to go to do that. I might prefer him announcing an indictment against Andrew McCabe or Hillary Clinton or somebody like that, if that was what was happening, rather than shutting down the economy. But when Pence said twice that we're 6 days in to a 15-day period of sort of locking everybody down to slow the spread, I'm hopeful that's him prepping everybody up. Oh no, it looks like the place I'm going to is closed. I'm hopeful that that's him prepping everybody up for an announcement in 9 days that, hey, things worked better than we thought, everything's going back to normal. And that right now I think would be like a best case scenario for us. 2 weeks, yeah, I agree, Kelly. 2 weeks of being shut down is disappointing and bad and will have a negative impact on some businesses, but not like stopping everything until August or for a month. I mean, I really feel like every day that things are closed, it's real bad. Now, wait a minute. Look at this. I didn't even know we would see this. I was coming over here to go up to the High Line because that's someplace I've gone on the show many times before, and I thought it would be nice for people to be able to compare how it looks today to how it's looked in the past. But, pretty unusual on a beautiful spring day for the High Line to be closed. So people are getting an idea of what's going on there. But look at what we've discovered. we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 FDNY ambulances parked, waiting, no drivers. They're just staged here. Oh, I didn't realize that's an FDNY. There's a parking lot for them right there. So maybe this is not unusual. There's FDNY Station 7 Emergency Medical Service. So that's parked there. We see buses. I don't know if people can see through the windows. It's kind of glary, but super empty. There's like 2 people on those buses. But I mean, you know, again, having ambulances staged here, maybe it's normal. That does seem to be the ambulance parking lot. But why aren't they out driving around collecting all these patients? We're hearing New York is an epicenter. Hey, excuse me, you deliver mail around here, right? Are these ambulances always parked here, or is that unusual? Always parked there?
Because, see, under the High Line on the other side, there's a station over there.
But do you think it's strange if we're having this pandemic that they're not driving around picking up coronavirus patients?
No, normally not that much.
Not this many here?
Yeah.
Normally they're not?
Normally not.
Because normally they're probably driving around helping people who are injured.
Yeah.
Right. So now nobody is out, nobody's around, and the ambulances are all sitting here. So these guys seem to be the postal workers who know this neighborhood. That's weird to me. I'm just going around looking at little signs and indicators around the city to try to help people understand what's going on. When Mike Pence, someone in the comments asked where did he get the 15 days from? I don't know. I hadn't heard that before today. But the fact that he said twice that we're 6 days in to a 15-day lockdown, and Trump has repeated confidently that he thinks the economy is going to come roaring back, maybe after 15 days they'll bring it back. There have been so many contradictory things here. You know, if we look at the totality of evidence surrounding this thing, you know, contradictory information from doctors, contradictory advice as to what we should do. A lot of people, this is what I wanted to address. A lot of people sent me a video yesterday of Army vehicles driving around New York. And I believe that video was false. I do not think it was from yesterday. There were Army vehicles in it and they were driving around. And there are times that Army vehicles drive around New York. I guess they have, you know, I don't know, different things to do, but I don't think that video was from yesterday. So here's how I arrive at that determination. Oh, look at this. Letter J, appointment only, maximum 4 occupants in the clothing store. Oh yeah, so wait, a couple things to deal with. The Army video. So the Army video I think was fake. The first thing I noticed was there's no sound, right? So, I mean, everybody who's recording video on their cell phone, it records with sound. That would be unusual to not record with sound. And frankly, for most people, I think taking, why am I dense, Edward Doyle? Taking sound out of the video would be harder to do than just leaving it alone and having sound there. So I think that the lack of sound is problematic. It just causes me to wonder what's the purpose for there being no sound. Why is there no sound there? And I don't know that we have a good answer for that. The other issue was the resolution was terrible. The quality looked terrible. And I mean, at this point, even a 5-year-old cell phone is going to be 4K resolution on the video. I don't understand why it would be so low quality. But above and beyond that, there were no other indicators that there were Army trucks driving around New York City. I didn't see any. The video showed streets basically right outside my apartment, pretty close. And so what I did was I went last night to the Armory, and there was no activity over there. I made a video, but I didn't post it because I was getting so much radio interference on the microphone. It was terrible. And I've changed the frequency of the microphone today. It seems to be better, but I don't know what was going on. So, yeah, oh yeah, the thumbnail I made outside Whole Foods right by my apartment. There's a line out there now. And just like with that clothing store, they're restricting the number of people who can enter at once. And although it doesn't look that daunting in the video that's on there, or the image. I took this little video just as I was leaving. The audio interference was the worst right there outside the apartment, so I wanted to get a decent distance away before I resumed recording. So just people to see that. I mean, that's a major hassle. You got to stand in line. I mean, going to the supermarket could take you an hour now. Life has changed a lot. 15 days is the best case scenario. I agree. I'm saying I hope that will be the best case scenario, because I think every day that we're out is not a good thing. Now, I'm heading over here to the west side. The original plan was to go up to the, I think I've come too far west. I was going to go up to the High Line and see what's going on over there, but couldn't get up there. So now I want to go to the Javits Center, but actually I should probably go up this way. It's going to be harder to do from here. I wanted to go up there because one of the Army dudes who was talking about building hospitals, the guy who was some general speaking for the Corps of Engineers, was saying that they've already converted the Javits Center. Now I'm getting some more interference as I head over here. Saw a video today, hundreds of Army tanks rolling into San Diego. Well, I mean, I don't know. I can't say if they do or don't have Army tanks rolling into San Diego. I would encourage people to scrutinize any piece of evidence carefully. There are always jokers and social engineers who want to agitate people and get them upset about stuff. So, I mean, you know, that could have some other indication. Sheila's asking, where are the homeless people? That's a good question. There haven't been too many around. I thought about it a bit last night because there were more homeless people out last night. It's definitely becoming a major concern that at night with less police, someone else had just commented that there's a lot of police out who have coronavirus. You know, maybe that's correct, but there were not a lot of police out last night. Now, during the day, I suspect homeless people aren't around because homeless people generally hang around during the day because they want to panhandle for money and ask people for change and stuff. And if there's no people around, perhaps there's no point in being outside if you're homeless, and maybe they want to go someplace warmer or a homeless shelter. I don't know. Haven't gone to any of those. But there were more homeless people out at night, and frankly, quite a lot of homeless people out at night. I did notice last night they were sort of just sort of around. And you know, I wonder how that's going to evolve over the days. If people know that everybody's inside. I'll try to make another video tonight or tomorrow night because it is very weird. I mean, compared to at night, this is a lot of people out right now. Definitely compared to a regular day, this is not. It's pretty warm. So Grant is asking if I've done a stream on Event 201. People seem to be asking me that every day. Sorry, that's Grant. Yeah, we have. I think actually we were some of the first people to be talking about Event 201 on Light on Conspiracies with Ole Damagard. Ole brought it up maybe in December or January, but that's on Patreon, so people should become sponsors of the show and they can access the huge library of sponsor-exclusive content on Subscribestar and Patreon. If you go to subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth, watch the videos with Ole Damagard and David Hawkins. David's spoken about Event 201. David has spoken about the Chinese scientist who was escorted out of the Winnipeg Level 4 biolab back in October. She trained people at the Wuhan biolab, and the RCMP escorted her out. Now, does that mean she was arrested, or was it a friendly escort? And then the CBC followed up with another report in October letting us know that there was an ongoing investigation, but they haven't told us if this woman was charged with anything. They haven't told us what she was doing in Wuhan. They haven't told us anything. I would think, why is the President of the United States not asking the RCMP what they know about this woman? And how do David Hawkins, Ole Damagard, and me know more about this than the president does. I'm sure he knows, but he's not saying anything. So a lot of people have come to the conclusion that perhaps something else is going on than what we're being told. There are more people out today enjoying the day, walking around. It's nice weather. I'm only on 25th Street, so it's going to be a bit of a walk to get to the Javits Center. I don't know what we're going to see there, but this Army general seemed to indicate they were in the process of, converting it into a hospital or something. I'm confused by this. I mean, they're anticipating this huge run on the hospitals, but the things they're saying about the number of patients that are expected do not jive with the things we're seeing around New York City in terms of those ambulances aren't rushing around helping people who have coronavirus. The 3 biggest hospitals in the city that I've been to don't seem to have any unusual activity going on at them that would indicate a global pandemic sufficient to close down the entire city. And now we got the Army converting hotels in the Jacob Javits Center into a triage ICU. It seems very weird. So, wreaking havoc on the Canadian economy. Yes, that's true. I live in New York City, BBQ Master, yes. Thank you. Very thankful for everyone who's enjoying the content. If people have any questions, I brought the other phone here so that I could look at comments while I walk around. There's nobody around, that's obvious. The city bikes are totally unused. Building staff is there. In my apartment building, they've got a little thing to fill out. They want people to volunteer to do the jobs that people normally do who work for the building, taking out the garbage and I don't know what, a whole bunch of stuff. But, what happens? I mean, when people can't go to work, certain things that most of us sort of feel like just happen are going to start to not happen. I wonder how the Lamborghini dealership is doing during the coronavirus outbreak. I can't imagine too many people are rushing out to buy Lamborghinis. Maybe that guy needs one. But so we're over here by the west side, which can be somewhat desolate at times. Ooh, is that a Koenigsegg dealership? Huh. I think it is. What does it say? I don't know if people care about that on this channel. That's like $1 million car. Yeah, Koenigsegg dealership. Look at that. Well, I don't know. I mean, some of these things are expensive to run and operate. I wonder how long. How you doing?
What do you do? Interviews?
I'm just walking around. See you later. I don't know, for some reason that didn't seem like a guy I wanted to interview. I want to see what's going on at the Javits. Walking west on 25th to 11th Avenue. Yeah, right, 34th. I'm heading, well, I don't know where you are in the video, but I'm heading north now on 10th, I think. I think this is 10th Avenue. But southern border been shut down. Yes, that's what I heard. The northern and the southern border, I believe President Trump said, are both shut down. So, here's Con Edison. So we sort of need those people to keep working or there'll be no electricity. Then you'd have a really big problem. So that's what I mean. Like if things start to really break down, I mean, we've got the mail running, right? So that's good. And I was thinking a lot about, what can we do to, sort of our part to keep the economy going in any way and just keep yourself from getting super bored. I mean, who's used to sitting at home for 2 weeks? I was going to start a little spring cleaning myself. I'm behind on that. So this is like, for spring of 2012 or something. And there are some cars here driving. People can get an idea of the traffic. And definitely more people with the masks. So is it that more people are afraid of getting coronavirus, or that if you expose everyone to a bunch of news for so many days telling them that this is going to happen? Hospitals are expecting face masks made by seamstresses and people sewing the materials. Well, the other thing they said at the press conference this morning was that the Hanes underwear company was going to start making face masks. I mean, you know, that's cool. I have no doubt that American people and corporations and stuff can mobilize to get a lot done. The thing I'm doubting is if we're doing the right kind of mobilization. So yeah, the UK had initially said that healthy people outside of the high-risk demographic should go about their normal lives, go to restaurants, go to movies, go to work, keep the economy going, while elderly people and people with compromised immune systems or who are otherwise in a high-risk demographic for getting coronavirus should stay home. And that's a good idea because it helps the population build up antibodies, antigens, whatever it is, to the virus. Now this is all, wow, these are all new buildings here. I don't know if people have seen these, but that's, you got that what is that thing called? The edge. They've got the edge, they've got the wedge. There's all kinds of things they got there. But it's I guess that's Hudson Yards, maybe. That's amazing. So here we got a train yard. I think there's always a ton of trains sort of sitting there, and then they drive through here to Penn Station. So I can't say if that's more trains than usual or not. But I got to imagine if nobody's going to work, nobody's riding the train. And so they don't need as many. I've been watching a lot of reports on aviation YouTube channels about different airlines suspending their operations. They use the word indefinitely, which I guess technically means, you know, until further notice, but that could mean forever. I mean, if you have all these super expensive assets like airplanes sitting around idle, you got to pay for the space they're stored in. Antibodies, antigen would be the virus, right? Yeah. So I think that would have been a way more prudent way to do this, to first start by advising people who are prone to the illness to stay home and stay away from groups and all that, keep everything going while they formulate this plan. I just can't shake the idea that they're using the virus to cover up something else. See, the other contradictory thing that was said is yesterday or the day before during a press conference, we heard one of the president's task force team members say that the United States and Italy had their patient zero moment at the same time. I think he said in January. So how does the medical community explain the rapid and really deadly spread of the virus in Italy compared to what's been going on in the United States? It doesn't seem that it's had the same, you know, level of contagiousness. It just doesn't seem to be spreading nearly as quickly. We have a much larger country, and certainly in the case of New York, more densely populated city, but yet nowhere near the level of coronavirus that's been reported from Italy. If people saw the John Cullen video yesterday, John did an extensive study of the CDC and WHO data where he pointed out how their own data doesn't warrant what is being done. It was really a comprehensive report. People, I think, really appreciate it. If you didn't get a chance to see that, you can become a sponsor. It's part of the sponsor exclusive library of content. And, you know, as always with the co-host shows, you can also get that on patreon.com/IamJohnCullen, also on John's Subscribe Star channel. So we're here at the Javits Center right there. It's impressively glass structure. I don't know if people have seen that before. But let's see what we can see with regard to the Army Corps of Engineers. I would think if they're converting it to a hospital, there'd be a lot of activity around it to do that. Whoops. Let's see. I don't see any Army trucks. I don't see any Army dudes. Definitely not a lot of people here right now. I don't imagine there's any kind of conference going on. Let's see what we got down here. Now, I don't know. I think if you were building a hospital here, you'd need a lot of construction equipment, or at least some trucks filled with hospital stuff that you would move in there. The general I saw on television was talking about how they needed 1 location today and 3 locations tomorrow. They were expecting the peak to hit in April. Here's a blue glove on the ground, so perhaps something medical was happening here. Then again, everybody's walking around with blue gloves, so how do we really know what's going on? Hard to say. Hey, how you doing? Have you seen any Army Corps of Engineers trucks around? Have you seen any Army Corps of Engineers trucks around? No, not yet. All right. So I don't know. That guy hasn't seen him. I don't know if people could see him on camera. He was holding his own camera. Planet number 1 arrived. Oh, patient number 1. Yes, right. Arrived from Wuhan in the U.S. Right. Louisiana went from 10 deaths to 16 deaths overnight. I mean, you know, that's reporting. I don't think I trust that. Have you seen any Army Corps of Engineers stuff around? So there's some photographers who are around who seem to be working for the news or something. They don't see anything to do with the Army Corps of Engineers here. I don't see anything with the Army Corps of Engineers here. And DQ, please do not promote social engineering channels. Yeah, I don't think the Army Corps of the Army Corps of Social Engineers. I don't think the Army Corps of Engineers is here right now. So the urgency that was expressed in that press conference does not seem to match what's going on here. Kim Jong, is that the photographer who I just walked past? Well, I don't know who he is. Bangladesh, 168 million and 2 dead. Exactly, there's John Hoover right now. Cuomo said he was going to visit the parks, maybe a less than ideal social separation. Right, I mean, he's not even following his own guidelines. Have you seen the Army Corps of Engineers around?
No, that's what we're waiting for.
Are you with the news?
Yeah.
Don't you think they would be here if they were converting this thing into a hospital by now?
Yeah, I'm not sure where we heard that the governor is coming.
The governor is coming?
Supposedly, that's why I'm here.
The governor is coming. Why do they need the governor to convert this to a hospital? So, okay, we can see there's some news cameras across the street. I don't buy it. I mean, if you're the Army and you're doing some big job, it's 3:30 in the afternoon. Don't you get here at like 6 a.m. and start doing that? If the city is experiencing a pandemic and millions of people are about to die to the extent that we need to shut down the economy? What do I think about the Navy hospital ships? They're not here yet, Luan. I was going to check that out the other day, but then when I did some looking into it, I saw that they sort of backtracked and said, oh, well, you know, we're going to have them there within the next 2 weeks in case we need them. Shutting down the world economy for 1 month will cause chaos. I agree. I agree. It will. So somebody wants that chaos, and somebody has forced Trump to accept that chaos. This is still pretty hard to explain. I'm hopeful that at the end of 15 days, they'll say, oh, hey, everything's fine, back to business. So I was thinking about what we can all do in between now and then with that hope in mind, that it's just 15 days. So I would say, you know, people can, spring cleaning was one idea. I was going to put a bunch of stuff on eBay, but then I was wondering maybe people aren't buying things on eBay. And then I was thinking it would be a good thing to do. If you need something, maybe look on eBay before going to Amazon, because then it's kind of sending money directly to somebody rather than sending it to Jeff Bezos, who perhaps that's part of what caused this problem in the first place. But I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people are concerned about the future and their jobs and whatever. I don't think that the Army, I mean, the governor is going to go there. It's 3:30 in the afternoon. It seems like if he was going to go there, he'd be there already. It's 10th Avenue, pretty dead. This is a lot of cars are usually jammed up here heading to New Jersey through the Lincoln Tunnel. Ivanka had something to do with PEPFAR. Right. A lot of people have been sending me the Amazing Polly video. Amazing Polly does amazing research and is doing really good videos for a long time. I invited her on the show a while ago, and she said that she was, more interested in doing videos on her own, which I understand. But I did share that video with Charles because she was talking about all kinds of stuff that Charles has been talking about since the beginning. PEPFAR, the Children's Foundation Fund, Investment Fund, whatever that thing is called. That was one of the first, that might have been the very first episode of Sunday with Charles, the Children's Investment Fund Foundation. And see, what's interesting is all these PEPFAR people and all of those fund people are all tied to this Clinton Foundation investigation that Charles has been doing for 3-4 years. And everyone's like, ooh, why are all these CEOs resigning? Why did Bill Gates resign? I don't know, but these are all the same guys that are tied to the crimes that Charles alleges are being done by the Clinton Foundation. And I don't know, maybe if you got a bunch of the richest people together in the world and told them we know about your multi-billion-dollar money laundering scheme and you're all going to go to jail, maybe they would decide, wouldn't it be better for us to put our resources together and get some Chinese scientists to go from Winnipeg to Wuhan and smash a vial of coronavirus at the wet market and smear it all over a roasted bat? John Cullen was showing us photos from a Thailand Chinese wet market, Chinese-style wet market in Thailand that had roasted bats, rotisserie bats. I'm not saying that has anything to do with the virus, but if you want to cringe at something to look at, patreon.com/IamJohnCullen and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. So here's the cops. They'll know if the army is over there at the Javits Center. Hey, let's see if we can find some officers. Excuse me, officers. Do you guys know if the Army Corps of Engineers is building a hospital out of the Javits Center?
I have no idea, mister.
Something you would know if they were over here doing
I
it.
have no idea, sir.
You don't think you would know if they were doing it? They wouldn't tell you that? You wouldn't see Army trucks? You're a traffic cop. You wouldn't see Army trucks around here all day if they were working on something? You wouldn't? You don't think the Army Corps of Engineers could roll in on 10th Avenue while you're patrolling 10th Avenue and you wouldn't notice it? I'll let people in on a little secret. Traffic cops in New York City are not the smartest people. They just seem to be handing out tickets and that's about it. But I find it hard to believe that the NYPD traffic cops would not be aware if there was an army operation going on 4 blocks away. Let's enjoy a nice scenic view for a moment. Empire State Building, gotta love it. Move out of the city and into a house with a private well. Well, it's a good idea, Queen Esther, but you better ask your Uncle Mordecai where I'm gonna get the money to do that. That's a name that I would suspect is being used to troll. But I'm not sure where I'm going now. We're just sort of walking up the west side here. Whenever I start hearing those radio interference hits, I don't think it makes sense to walk back down there. Who's got some ideas for where I should go visit? I'm pretty convinced that there is not an Army Corps of Engineers operation going on at the Javits Center right now. It's not to say that they won't start one, but given the urgency that they were describing, it seems to be inconsistent with what's happening right now. Yeah, beautiful sky. Right, there would be normally a lot of people out on a day like today. I'm not sure how interesting it would be to wait around outside the Javits Center to see if anything is happening. You haven't seen the Army Corps of Engineers around, have you? Do you know if they're doing anything at the Javits Center today? It's the type of thing they'd probably tell you if there were going to be a load of Army trucks coming in, right?
Well, they're supposed to, because this is where they got to do it at Javits Center.
So it would be strange for the Army Corps of Engineers to be over there and for you to not be notified, right?
Not necessarily, because they are down there, we are up here.
But you'd see trucks, you'd see activity.
But it's not going to happen until tonight.
And tonight they're going to do
Yeah,
it.
that's when the whole city is locked down.
Who told you that?
It's on the news.
Was that on the news? The whole city is locked down tonight? I didn't see that yet.
At 9 o'clock.
Holy crap. So 9 o'clock tonight, the city is locked down. I guess I missed that. High frequency from EMF waves. Yeah, I have no doubt, Kelly. But it seems to be worse at certain times and definitely changing. This looks mighty suspicious to me. Yes, I agree. I agree what guys you have. It's mighty suspicious. Almost as if they're telling us something is going to happen and it's not happening. So that guy said it would happen at 9 o'clock tonight when the city is locked down. Oh, do you mean when I would get arrested for walking over here to see if it's actually happening or not? That's interesting. Because it doesn't seem to be happening right now. And if that guy, the general, who said that there's so much urgency that they need one place today and 3 more tomorrow, why would they wait until tonight? And if you're doing a construction project, why would you wait until 9 o'clock when it's dark and not start now? Hey, excuse me. Excuse me. You guys working on the construction at the Javits Center?
Yeah.
Have you seen the Army Corps of Engineers around today? They're supposed to be turning it into a hospital.
Oh no, that's on the other side.
But did you hear anything about that?
Say they might do it. I don't know.
They might do it. So somebody told you they might do it.
I mean, that's what they said in the news.
Got it. On the news.
Yeah.
On the news. Okay, thanks. So there we go. See, no, I mean, to me, I don't know. If you were a construction company working at the Javits Center and the Army was going to come in and take over a construction project, I feel like somebody would contact the foreman of the construction company who would tell all of those guys, and you'd get it organized for them to leave or help or do whatever they're doing. Yeah, Empire State Building I was going to go to, but it's closed. I have ordered a press pass, Kim, but I don't have it yet. Yeah. Dr. Castor will see that comment and he'll tell me I told you so or something to that effect. So I am pretty confident that the Army Corps of Engineers is not here at the Javits Center. Look at that weather. There's the forecast for the week. Can people see that? It's going to be pretty nice. Although everybody will be locked inside, I don't know what we're going to be able to do. We are going to be doing Sunday with Charles tomorrow. I mean, the funny thing is I've been doing more work during this lockdown while everybody's been out of work. I've been going nonstop. I got to bed very late last night. I was trying to fix the audio on that other video before I decided to just ditch it and come do this again. I mean, again, all I really did was walk over to the armory and saw no activity there. I mean, they're acting like aliens have landed and we're all gonna die by July, but remarkably relaxed at the hospitals, at the triage hospital that's under construction. Does this look like construction activity to anybody? I mean, over there, yeah, they're constructing a building, but there's nothing going on at the Javits Center. No Army Corps of Engineers. No police aware of the Army Corps of Engineers, and just a bunch of press standing across the sidewalk. Well, maybe the governor will arrive. What do people think? All of this is strange. I agree, Mary. Name and number of what? Sunday with Charles is awesome. Thank you. No chemtrails over NYC. Yeah, that's a good point. Ole had noticed that in Spain the other day. You know, I don't even think I'd call that a press pool over there. There's just a couple people. I see one camera, 2 cameras. Okay, 3. All right, so there's some press setting up there. I mean, you know, even if the governor does show up, we had a guy on the TV today talking about the urgency. What are they waiting for? What are they waiting for? Send the army over here. Tell the construction crew. All right, so what do we do here? Maybe it's a psyop. I think it is a psyop, Jennifer. There's something else going on. Yeah, well, the press, all they're doing is talking about, you know, how many people have died of coronavirus. Actually, no, that might not be press. That's people waiting to get on Bolt bus to get out of New York City. So it looks like 2 cameras set up. It's very weird. Very weird. Do they have corona testing center in New York since they don't want the hospital full? Jerry, there is, from what I've seen on the news, coronavirus testing center in Brooklyn. And I was thinking about going over there, but it's a little late in the day and Brooklyn's kind of a pain in the ass. I don't want to do it. Let's see what these news guys have in mind. So, did you guys hear that the Army Corps of Engineers is turning this into a hospital? And you're with the news? So you heard that from the press?
The governor said it this morning.
Right, as did a general for the Army, but he was talking about urgency and none of the cops around here know anything about it, and I don't see any Army trucks or anything around. Seems weird, doesn't it? Do you know what time they're going to be here?
No idea. I'm sure if he just announced it this morning, it's probably not till tomorrow at least. I wouldn't think.
So you're going to wait here till tomorrow?
No.
What are you waiting for, or are you just taking B-roll?
Live shots.
Got it. Cool. All right. And who told those guys?
I'm not sure what station that is, but I'm sure they're just doing the same thing, just talking about it being converted.
Got it. So these are news guys who are coming over here reacting to the announcement that was made in the same way that I did, but nobody seems to have any definitive information. And I got to tell you, there's no way they're having a press conference there at, you know, it's 4 o'clock on Saturday right now. Here's Eyewitness News. What's up, guys? There's definitely no hospital being built there today. It's very strange. So we've been through Times Square. We've seen that there's nobody over there. How long have we been rolling for here? You can barely see the screen. Wow, 42 minutes already. Well, I don't know. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you, Word Love Empress. Maybe all the CEOs are resigning because of the upcoming government bailouts. Well, I don't know why they would resign from that. It seems like a payday waiting to happen. All right, so we got some radio interference happening here. It's not as bad as last night. I don't know, these radio mics are supposed to be on a spectrum that's not used by other stuff, but who knows? Well, I hope people are enjoying some of the Crowdsource the Truth library while they're at home. Good opportunity to catch up on some of the shows that we've done over the past, I guess we're almost 3 years, right? Maybe more than 3 years. Time flies when you're spending all your time making videos. But people can check out all the different topics that we cover. So all the people that are asking me, have I covered Event 201? You got to get onto Patreon. We're talking about it on there. And, you know, most people are really enjoying the Patreon and Subscribe Star sponsor exclusive material. There's occasionally, you know, comments coming from people who want to know why we don't just put it all on YouTube. There's 2 reasons. YouTube is very prone to striking videos and deleting them if they contain controversial material that they don't want people to see. And also, there's no way to earn any money from putting videos on YouTube, even before this whole economic crisis that we're currently experiencing. And so that's the system that we use. For as little as $2 a month, people can access a huge and growing library of sponsor-exclusive content. This is rare. So there's not too many gas stations in New York City, and the ones that there are usually, you know, there's a line of cars, taxis usually lined up outside the gas station. I think that's, yeah, BP. And it looks like gas is $3.19 over there. A lot of people have been writing that gas is very cheap in their towns. I've been speaking with a couple people. We had John Mark Dugan this morning. We were talking about Putin's refusal to reduce Russian oil output to keep the price up so that OPEC can continue their practice of price fixing in the oil market and that the petrodollar can remain king, I feel confident that that's not what Putin wanted to do. He said no. He said he wasn't going to do it, but I think that when he did that, he was posing a serious challenge to the petrodollar. And as the first nuclear-armed adversary to do that, Saddam Hussein did that, they killed him right away. Muammar Gaddafi did that, they killed him right away. Putin has just done it. $1.69, Kim says. Yeah, well, it's still New York. And wow, 99 cents a gallon in Kentucky for buck. So, I mean, that helps people, but nobody has anywhere to drive to. Oh, and I noticed that Tesla lost 50% of its value. I guess, you know, when prices for gasoline are going up, electric cars are desirable, but when they're going down, not so much. $1.59 for gas in Texas. Yeah, Berks, right. Right, so see, I'm all over the place. When I don't have a guest, it's hard to remember the flow of what I'm saying. So I sent Charles the Amazing Polly video. He looked at it. He had a lot of commentary on it, you know, filling in some of the details of some of these people. The PEPFAR stuff, that Children's Foundation, Children's Investment Fund Foundation, whatever it's called. What do I think about Mike Pompeo saying we're in the middle of a live exercise? Well, that's what I mean. That and Pence talking about 15 days. I mean, if they were in 15 days or, you know, 9 days from now, say, okay, everything's fine, everybody back to normal, I don't think that would make it a good thing that they've done it, but that's better than being locked in your house until August, and at least we could sort of start to get things back to normal. Here's the Lincoln Tunnel. I mean, people who have been here ever before in their lives at 3:45 in the afternoon on a spring day, you will never see the entrance to the Lincoln Tunnel empty like this. I've never seen it. I've never, ever seen that. Soak it in. Whew. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Whew. So all this stuff is closed. Cleaners are closed. Oh yeah, I thought of another thing that people could do to help the economy a little bit. I noticed, this is in New York City at least, pizza places are open and barber shops are open. I don't know why. You would think the barber is standing right next to you the whole time. If people are paranoid about getting coronavirus, they shouldn't go. But if that's happening in your town, maybe go have a haircut, maybe go get a pizza or order one in. Little stuff that can help sort of keep the economy going. If it's only 2 weeks, maybe those things help. I think if it goes until August, that starts to become a little bit futile, I guess. Well, maybe this will be interesting for people. Fans of camera gear and consumer electronics might maybe have ordered things from B&H Photo. There it is over there. I'm pretty sure they sent me an email saying that they're closed. Oh yes, Honeybee is asking what Rockefeller Plaza is like. I do have a video from there that I took the other day. I meant to play it on David Hawkins' Discovery CSI yesterday, but I forgot to. Rockefeller Center is absolutely empty. Totally empty. There were 2 people ice skating, which was kind of funny and fun. And thank you, David, for the super chat from Canada. I appreciate that. Crowdsource the Truth 2. People can utilize super chat to support the channel. Other people can go to patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth or subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth if they don't want YouTube getting in the middle. But I always appreciate people who appreciate what I'm doing here. And yeah, we got B&H Photo closed. Everything is closed. All these restaurants, B&W Deli and Pizzeria. I asked my friend who owns the restaurant if I could interview him, and he said he didn't feel like doing it. I think he's not in a good place to do that right now. I mean, we're talking about people who have built businesses over their entire lives. In this guy's case, it's his father, his uncle, and then him. And I mean, you can lose a business like that in much less time than it takes to create one. So I hope they know what they're doing with this live drill, if that's what it is. Although I'm not sure they do. Oh, the comments have frozen. Whoops. Let's see if we can get the comments back. I mean, crossing 34th Street against the light in the middle of the day, this never happens. Never. Never happens. Look at this guy. He's a traffic cop. He's not even standing in the middle of the street. He's not even doing anything. I don't know, wouldn't the whole west side be overrun with army trucks if they were converting the Javits Center into a hospital? Yeah, so the B&H store is now closed through March 28th, open for buying online, picking up the store in 30 minutes. How could that be? All right, well, if you need some B&H photo stuff, there you go. You can order from them. I think I might be sort of done with this video. I don't know, maybe we could, I was gonna go down to Washington Square Park, but I mean, it's gonna take hours, all this walking all around all over the city. I think it was a pretty good run right there to check out what was going on at the Javits Center. It looked like nothing. Well, you know what, it's a good point. B&H Photo would be closed on Saturday anyway, but it's closed until March 28th. So it's a little bit like spring break for everybody, even if you don't want it. So, you know, there's that. Here, we can go back over by Penn Station. Could walk, oh no, I definitely will lose signal if I go down there. So socialism is the next chapter. I agree with that, Just the Facts Man. Can you show us how Brits get arrested for jaywalking? I've never seen anybody get arrested for jaywalking in New York City. And, you know, people say such and such is my middle name. In this case, Jay is my first name. So jaywalking is what I'm doing all the time. Not really a big deal. The other thing that they were talking about was converting hotels into hospitals. I mean, again, this is a good idea if we have like a 1918 flu kind of pandemic where like everybody is sick, but I don't see any evidence that that's happening. And I'm not denying that there are people getting sick and people who are dying from this. I just think that if you mobilized an entire newspaper or all of CNN or every newspaper around the country to cover every single story of anybody who has the flu and dies, of any, you know, cancer survivor or immunocompromised person who gets it and dies, you probably would have several dozen or several hundred stories like that every year, but they just don't focus on it like they are now. So here we got skateboarders enjoying the, that might be something interesting to focus on, how people are enjoying the changes. Like, I mean, walking around an empty street in Manhattan like this is a luxury that you never have. Well, I don't know if it's a luxury, but it's a thing. It's quieter than normal, that's for sure. It's a nice day, it's true, T. Walker. Have I seen Barrett Channel? Ghost Malls in China. I don't think I've seen Barrett's Channel, but I have seen that Ghost Malls of China thing. Possible locations for temporary hospitals, Stony Brook University. Right, but I mean, I'm just saying, why do we need a temporary hospital if the regular hospitals aren't filled? And those post office guys said that there's more fire department ambulances over there than there normally are. So did they somehow magically create additional fire department ambulances in less time than it takes to drive the Army over to the Javits Center? Or does that mean that the regular number of ambulances are all there, the full complement? Because on a normal day, when everybody is at work and walking around and outside, there's people tripping and falling and getting hit by cars and doing things that cause them to call ambulance, that gets those ambulances to drive away from the parking lot. Ooh, what's that? There is something over there. Let's go look at that. Can people see that tent? I don't know what that is. Now, okay, so this is another street that you normally would never, this girl doesn't mind. She's just having a nice spring day. This is such little traffic, it's crazy. Normally this is another street that you just definitely cannot cross against the light. There's a dry cleaner delivering stuff. So there's some stuff still going on.
Jesus is saying, I still love you. You don't have to worry. I love you. Jesus is saying, I love you. I still love you. I still love you.
So that guy's got like a little mobile preaching operation going on. I'm gonna go over this tent here. I'm not sure if I've seen that before. Check out what that is. There's another state police, two state troopers. That's unusual. Remember, we saw the state troopers inside of Penn Station just the other day with a machine gun, and they tried to convince me they've been there for years. I never saw those guys. I never saw state troopers in Penn Station before. Maybe they were there. I don't know. So let's see. What is that? This is a street that has been, within the past few years, sort of closed off to traffic. Through traffic, it's, I think, trucks and things that load concerts into Madison Square Garden. Basically utilize that loading bay area. So that section of the street is closed to through traffic, and they put like a restaurant over there and some kind of, I think I've seen them doing concerts, but I don't think I've seen that tent on it before. Let me take a look at that. So this is usually where, when they're doing hockey games or concerts, the trucks all drive in here. I used to walk through here every day on my walk to work. It's a 21st century 3D. And obviously Madison Square Garden is closed, no concerts going on. Yeah, that's a good point, Tom. I'm on 33rd Street. So I think that might just be the regular construction, but check it out. Nice day, yes. Eyes and ears on the ground, LB Crypto. Bitcoin's been sort of all over the place, hasn't it? It was down quite a lot. It lost almost 50% of its value in a short time. This is another spot that's usually loaded up with people having lunch. And again, I used to hang out. Oh, look at that. I think this is Kmart closing. I mean, I don't shop at Kmart, but that's more Amazon stuff right there. That hasn't been there that long. So Lenny's Sandwiches is temporarily closed. They don't say March 28th. But that is a date that I've heard a lot. So I guess that's the 9 days from now that Pence is talking about. Or is it? Something like that. Maybe they'll just say, okay, everything's fine, go back to work. But no, they were talking about other stuff in April. They're saying the height of this is going to be in April. They're just giving confusing information. They're not really telling anybody what's up. Whoa. Pretty empty, huh, guys? Can you believe it? Have you ever seen it like this?
Never seen it like
How long you been working for the partnership?
Oh, man, 14.
14 years?
Nah, not that long. About 2 years.
2 years, 2 years. But nothing like this has ever happened.
Never.
I mean, this is the opposite of what it says. Right now, Saturday, springtime, this should be wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder. Right?
Nothing like this.
What do you think is going to happen? Are you worried about your job?
Nah.
I mean, you got a pretty secure job, right? You're basically working for the city, kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
All right, be safe. Thanks.
Thank you.
See, that was a nice guy giving me some information, at least what he knows. So let's see. Does this look like anything unusual here? No, I mean, I guess this is just, okay, right. So this is our new front door. Yeah, this was this thing that was like a concert venue. Oh, okay. So this is Penn Station is under construction, so this is part of that. I guess I haven't walked exactly by this or paid attention to it in a while, but this is just totally outrageous. Here we see a line of taxis, which, you know, normally it's difficult to get a taxi. There's a line of people waiting for taxis, not a line of empty taxis waiting for people. And that's, I mean, these guys are all independent businessmen generally. The way the taxi business in New York City works, rarely a taxi driver will own the taxi, and sometimes they'll share it. 2 or 3 guys will own a taxi, because it's extremely expensive to purchase this medallion that they have on the hood. This is the thing that lets you know that it's an official licensed by the city, New York City cab. And before Uber, I think those medallions might have been like $1 million or some ridiculous price. And I also think there was something screwy with Michael Cohen, you know, the former Donald Trump lawyer. He had something to do with some Ukrainian taxi king or something. I forget the details of that. But generally, these taxi drivers, they're renting the taxi for the day. A guy told us about this the other day. We pay like $850 to rent the taxi for a certain period of time, and then they're hustling around to make that money back. So if you're a taxi driver that has a couple bad days, I don't think the taxi dispatch company has too much sympathy for these guys. They're not generally known to be the most magnanimous types, but we got a lot of cop cars around. But if you have a couple days of losing money on a taxi, that's not good. And we'll have to see what happens to some of those guys. CC, what am I, one of the first? Or somebody is one of the first. It's hard to keep up with the comments, but it's good that I have them here. Makes it a nice interactive session here with everybody. So we got a fire truck down there doing something. Can we see what's going on? Look at that. Yeah, I mean, there are people who are angry that I'm walking around, that I'm, by doing this, you know, risking somebody's health somehow. There's nobody around. A lot of empty city bikes. A lot. Boulangerie, closed. Dunkin' Donuts, closed. Headline news appears open. Selling vapes. That fire truck looks like it's just hanging out there. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. It's got its, oh, there's the fire department. What are they doing? Span Man, should I talk to them? They look busy. They probably don't want to be bothered. Span Man used to be a fireman. Let's see. Just don't advertise they could rob you. I'm missing some of the details. How's it going, guys? How's the city been for the fire department amid the coronavirus crisis? You guys doing okay? Everything good for the fire department? Have you seen any coronavirus related stuff? Got it. I understand. No problem. I understand. Be safe, guys. It seems like a lot of firefighters to put a hose in a thing there. But firefighters are generally friendly, in my experience. Something technical must be going on here. Filling something with water, or I don't know what. Span Man probably knows. Well, all right, so that's just some sort of standard operation. John Campbell, I don't know who that is. Well, I might be done for today. I think we got the useful information that we were looking for. Anybody have any questions or anything they want me to go visit? Well, I don't know, there's a lot of comments in there that I can't seem to respond to. Hampton Inn is open. I guess there's people staying there. The 99-cent store looks open. There's not too much stuff open. There's really very little to do other than walk around or watch YouTube or hang out at home. How many people are having a nice time at home with their families in the comments here? Flushing out a hose, might well be. Well, so there's a friend of mine who is Italian from Italy, and he's a neurosurgeon. I know him from 3D days. He used to record neurosurgeries in 3D. So we used to share a lot of technology, and we became actually pretty good friends. I haven't seen him in a few years, but I did just call him, and I was trying to get him on an interview to talk to us about what's going on in Italy. He still has family in Italy. He's a neurosurgeon, so obviously he's very knowledgeable doctor. And I thought he could give us some good insights into what's going on. The more I speak to doctors, the more I become confused, because sensible doctors seem to think that what they're doing doesn't make very much sense. Doctors that we see on television who are, involved in the conversations about who gets the $1 trillion, they think we should shut everything down and panic like a pandemic. So, a lot of police cars around. I do like seeing the people who are walking around just not caring at all, like it's a regular day. That gives me hope. Screw coronavirus, right? That guy, people, I think they have the right attitude, I think that should have been the decree. If you're young and have a healthy, normal immune system, conduct your life normally. That would have been, I think, better. If we would see no difference, or maybe a slight reduction in the crowd versus the total decimation of commerce in New York City. Looks like the bubble tea place is still open, maybe. I don't really get the appeal of that bubble tea. It's more like gummy bear tea. Getting close to the apartment, so James, I'm glad people like these walking videos. Go visit Chelsea Clinton? I don't think so. Where does Chelsea Clinton even live? Charles probably knows, but see, now this is interesting. There's more of these cannabis shops opening around, but it is definitely not legal to sell weed in New York City. So I guess CBD might be legal, but that is not what these guys are generally advertising that they're selling. Okay, now here we go. So this has become a skate park. So this is what I'm talking about. I was noticing small changes which, ordinarily you would not be able to do this. And there's a policeman right at the back over there, which would definitely not let those guys do that. But subtle things are starting to happen. As I was walking around last night, I noticed there were a small number of people in the park who were drinking open containers. And I'm not talking about, winos or homeless people laying around drunk. I mean, regular people who looked like they would have jobs if everybody were working were having drinks. Now, I don't think it was a problem, but it was an indicator that people are taking certain liberties with things that normally would not be done. You staying open? Store stays open? Oh, wholesale only. Oh, so if you need to buy like 50 bongs, that's the place to go. But, so here's another place, Escape. This is a virtual reality place, some sort of game, I think, that you can play in there, which to me seems like a doomed business just because look at the size of that space and how expensive it must be to rent. And that's like laser tag or something. Maybe it'll be popular for a little while and then it's going to go away. Business like that can't tolerate a month or 2 months with no people coming in there. But back to the skate part, we're not even a week into this and certain liberties are being taken. I just wonder if we baby step towards that. And we've heard that they're letting people out of prisons because the prison represents too much of a threat for spreading the virus and stuff like that. I could see chaos coming out of that pretty quickly, You know, you go from skateboard park on the sidewalk and alcohol in the park at night to marauding gangs pretty quickly. And I don't think we want to see that. So if you're thinking about joining a gang, don't. If you're thinking about marauding, don't. Maybe just order a pizza, get a haircut. Okay, this chicken place is still open, it appears. Oh, that's the other thing. Formation of lines is a new, you got to stand a mile away from the person in front of you. I hope they shut this down quickly, because this is going nowhere good. Let's see. News headline says the Bronx hospital is breaking down. What Bronx hospital? That's the name of it? Bronx Hospital? How is it breaking down? Why wouldn't they just send people to that hospital on 59th Street or some other hospital? That didn't seem to be having too many problems. How did I lose a subscriber, Lady Eagle? And anyway, if I said something that caused you to be lost, that's your problem, not mine. Limiting liability. So Kim is asking, do I think what's going on is part of limiting liability? I think it is. I think that what's going on is that Vladimir Putin assassinated the petrodollar when he refused to join the OPEC price fixing scheme by reducing Russian oil output to keep the price of oil high. And I'm not talking about what he did to the price of oil, I'm talking about what he did to challenge US control over who buys and sells oil and for what they buy and sell it for. The petrodollar. It's a system created by Henry Kissinger under Richard Nixon, forcing every nation to buy or sell oil only in US dollars. But the Russians and the Chinese and others don't like that system. Saddam Hussein didn't like that system. He defied it, they killed him. I forgot to show people these elements of the FIT artwork the other day. Muammar Gaddafi didn't like the petrodollar system, so they killed him. And now they have Putin challenging it. He's the first guy with a nuclear arsenal to challenge it. And this is the future section, I guess. And I don't think they can just go and knock him out as easily. So this presents a problem, and I am fearful, well, I should say concerned, that what we're seeing is a cover operation for a dramatic reset or recalibration of the US economy. And I believe they're doing all this because they feel if they can position it as, oh, it's the virus's fault, we're going to help you, we're going to give you $1,000, everybody feels good about Congress and the president, whoever it is, and all the people that are involved in this, versus if we all came to realize that they set up and allowed to continue a Ponzi scheme system that was bound to fail and leave us all holding the bag, and to make bad things worse, they all made money on stocks by using insider trading tips related to news they were receiving about the virus to make money while everybody else in the stock market was left to twist. That's no good. And people would hate them and want them to go to jail or worse. So I believe this is all being done to cover that, because this seems way too dramatic for what actually appears to be happening, which is a bad seasonal virus that will kill the infirmed and immunocompromised, but not be substantially different to the majority of the population. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope it all ends soon, as quickly and painlessly as possible. But until then, we're going to just keep observing. That's all for now, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to become a sponsor. If you've watched all the videos that Crowdsource the Truth has produced on YouTube, you can go over to patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth or subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth and become a sponsor and enjoy some sponsor exclusive content. School's over. Be safe, everybody.